Hey, Jibu. Hey, Jibu. Hey, Jibu. We got the light on? Yeah, we got the light on. We got the light on? Yeah, we got the light on. All right, so this is the numbers game. We got the reference numbers right here. This is the numbers game. We got the reference numbers right here. This is the numbers game. We got the reference numbers right here. All right, we're gonna put the laptop over here. Look at that. You want an apple? I got some apples here. You want an apple, Jibu? I got some good apples here. Look at that. Green and red. I got some good apples here. Look at that. Green and red. All right, let's get this set up here. All right, so we got the black pen, we got the blue pen, purple, pink, red. Then we got the teal blue, lime green, and regular green. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, so first we got to we're gonna pick these numbers here. First we got to pick two numbers. So we're picking 6, 9, and first we got to pick two numbers. So we're picking 6, 9, and 27. Then we're going to pick 3 numbers, which is 1, 3, 8. 2, 9, 7. 4, 81. 481. Then we got 796. Then we got
then we got to get one more.
796. We got to get one more.
826.
826.
To each other, right?
I told you that.
Equal,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So he stood there, and that's fine, you know. But I must be perfectly honest. The winner was Mandani and not Trump.
Why is that?
All
Why
right,
did
so
you?
now we got to.
Trump said nothing. Trump said absolutely nothing. You know, he made a statement that will be used against him, and it was on another program, and they're right. He used a statement that, you know, you said a lot of things about him. You call him a guy. He said, well, you say things about, you know, people like that will come back to haunt him. The Democrats are now going to use all the talking points he said, because he said he made this guy look out to be, you know, the answer to Nirvana. And he may underneath say no, but, you know, perception is everything. Even though this guy is anti-Semitic, we know that, and he's no damn good. He made him look, you know, okay, and they will use that against him, and deservedly so.
By the way, Stan, I do agree with you on that. They will use a lot of his comments.
A lot of it.
Yes, but you made it sound like he said nothing. Mandani said nothing.
No, Mandani said nothing.
Yeah,
He
Mandani,
didn't.
exactly.
I said that. No,
Yeah.
he didn't. You're right.
Yeah,
He said that, and he didn't have to defend himself. He didn't back off anything. Trump, basically, you know, I could work with the guy. I think things are, I want the best for him. He's the guy, you know. I would have loved, you know, I hate his guts. I would have wished he said, wait a minute, do you hate the Jews? I would have loved him to say that, but he didn't say that. Oh, by the way, what did you say about what do you call it? What was going on in Israel? They were killing people.
Oh, the genocide.
Yeah. What genocide? What genocide? How about the Jews that were? What? He didn't say. He didn't say anything. He smiled. He
I
laughed.
agree, and that's
him
why.
on the back.
And that's why, Stan, what I think should have happened, and I agree with you. Yeah, I'm not going to say that. It was.
It wasn't a good moment for him.
Well, I don't think it was a great moment in some regards, but in other regards, I also think this is part of Trump's plan. If you listen to people,
how is the plan? What plan?
Stan, I guess you talk to Donald Trump all the time, so you know his.
Well, let me hear you say you're sitting with him. But what plan are you talking about?
Here, let me tell you, we were talking earlier today with Laura, and also who certainly knows him. It's his daughter-in-law. She talks to him all the time. Also Claudia Tenney, who knows him well, and others, and also Miranda Devine. These are folks who certainly know him.
2963, 3681, 4297.
They firmly believe he is much more sort of overboard nice with people that he is deeply concerned and troubled by, sort of keeping your enemies close. He did do it, to their credit, with Erdogan. You noticed that during all that stuff, and obviously he's deeply concerned about Erdogan and some of his issues, as he should be. But he did that with Erdogan during all the stuff with Israel that was going on, and still continues, obviously. And the only thing that I think was a missed opportunity, and this is, and I said this earlier in the show, Stan, that I thought when finally the national media was asking questions, and they asked some pretty good ones. There was, I think, a Jewish even reporter, I think that might have even been in the room there, who was asking from Israel, and then there were ones from Fox News and elsewhere. And they were finally kind of getting to that couple of the questions.
All right, so I got my numbers down.
Cut off. Whether it was by Mandani or Trump.
See my numbers?
And I think it was because Trump wanted to keep it on a semi-positive note for now. And I think if I can keep it, let's do round one in sort of a positive note, if you will.
Now we're going to do your numbers. So you said...
Keep an eye on him. Say, he was nice. Invited him in the White House. I gave you a chance. I said, listen, if you treat it, I'm going to treat you well. You're not treating New York well. You're not.
You said 83?
This may be all sort of very much part of a cat and mouse game. I will give Trump credit Whether you will or not, Stan,
Rita.
I will give him that. Go ahead.
Rita, took Mandani. You know, I can't stand him. I hate his guts.
123.
To Mandani's credit, he's nothing.
Yeah, you're right.
He was
He got-
brilliant. To be
He got
honest, he
away
was
with
brilliant.
saying nothing. I agree with
He
you.
was brilliant in just,
I
you
don't know
know,
if I'd say
I'm going to be
brilliant,
mayor,
but-
and I'm not going to talk about this. I'm going to be doing, and that's what he does. And the key point was, this was the time to say to him, you're anti-Semitic. You know, a genocide in Israel. Where have you been? Nothing. Nothing.
And you said
and it will be used against
560?
and deservedly so by the Democrats. They have talking points now by his own mouth. And I keep telling you, he's got TVD. So does the other guy. He's got Trump verbal diarrhea. Mandani has MVD. Mandani verbal
Here's
diarrhea.
what's interesting, Stan. Here's what's interesting, too, tonight. And I agree they will use it. On the flip side, you know, his supporters, Mandani's supporters, are not happy that Mandani was nice to Trump.
Then
I don't
you
know what
got
he's supposed to do. He's going to the president of the United States.
323.
He better be kissing the ground that he's,
Right.
you know, that he's on there. But
323.
when I say that to you is that also they watched that moment and saw a very cordial Donald Trump. You know, Mandani's made him out to be the, you know, the pariah of all pariahs. And clearly, his supporters tonight are not happy with Mandani. So, I mean, it's going to be, you know, he said this, but then when
All
he
right,
went to
then
the
you
White
got
House,
5699.
a little pansy in the White House, you know? I mean,
You got 5.
there's enough ads for both sides
6.
out of this meeting today. And I also think Trump is smart enough to know, by far, this guy wrote The Art of the Deal. He's going to watch what happens, see what happens. He'll be nice to the guy. He'll give him, you know, some rope to see where he goes. And if he's going to
You got 1199.
And if he does, I do believe Trump will pull him and rein him back in and said, listen, I was nice to you, but you know what? I told you to take care of New York. You told me you would. Now you're not doing it. And also some of these other things I don't agree with. So let's see. Maybe he was just being super cordial, but also trying to lay the groundwork. And also, he certainly, by the way, I'm sure the folks at the Democratic Socialists of America, they can't be happy with this meeting because they saw their guy who said Donald Trump's the worst thing in the world. They saw him very cordial and very acquiescing to President Trump today. And that was not a good look for a Democratic Socialist.
1199. 0679.
I'm being anti-Trump.
0.
Believe me, that they can use
6.
against the Democrats out of this meeting.
7.
So don't forget
9.
that too. Thanks, Dan. Always interesting. Let's go to Robert in Brooklyn. Your thoughts tonight on line 1.
0679. 6093. 6093.
You had that guy on the radio that long. What a waste of time.
Which one? Who's Stan?
The guy just now.
Dan. Robert, when you want to be a critic, you can host your own show. I try to put everybody. No, you know
693.
what? I don't like that because you know what? I will just
Then you
tell
said,
Stan is a veteran. I don't agree with him, as you can tell, but I like to be able to. It's America. You got to hear from everybody. And
Then
that's
you
what Donald
said,
Trump did today, and that's what I'm doing on the show.
549.
Go ahead. Next point.
I stand to be corrected. Anyway, I'm looking at straight at Mandani today on TV, making eye contact with this guy from my living room, and the both of them are playing the same game. Nobody sees this. They're both playing the same game.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mandani's going to lose because.
Yes. So where is this headed?
Look, can I have the floor just for 1 second? Mandani is going to lose because Trump is a master at this. This guy knows what he's doing. He knows how to handle people.
549. And you said
He's
755.
been in office for the last couple of years. The guy, he's amazing.
Well, and Robert, I will give you that. I agree. Now it's my floor, okay? Since it's my show, but thank you. But anyway, I do agree, Robert, by the way, with your point that Trump is a master. He has a master plan here. I don't disagree when I said to Stan that they will use little nuggets. They're always going to take stuff out of context, whether it comes to Trump or whether it comes to whoever. But if Mandani
222. Now give me a four-digit number.
I think he's got a bridge to sell him in Brooklyn because Trump certainly knows what he's doing and knows what he's dealing with, and he is the
All right,
president of the United States.
4397.
He deals with some very bad actors. And in relation to Kim Jong-un or a Putin or some of these others, Mondani's just a little gnat, a little punk. And I think he knows how to deal with punks. I think he's dealt with it. To your point, Robert, and you made some good ones. Have a good weekend, Robert. Thank you. And everybody, we're going to continue with your calls. It's a spunky call night. I like you guys. 1-800-848-9222. But first, support our heroes.
The Rita Cosby Show presents Support Our Heroes.
And this
Give me a
is
two-digit
the
number.
Towers Foundation Support Our Heroes segment with a powerful story from Kingston, Massachusetts, where surrounded by his family and memories stretching back a century, veteran John Tura said he feels really, really grateful. On Saturday, he's going to be honored as the Citizen of the Year during America's hometown Thanksgiving celebration in Plymouth. Tura was chosen in part for his brave military service. A veteran of both World War II and the Korean War, veteran Tura enlisted in the Navy in 1943 and at just 18 years old was deployed to the Pacific. And obviously, a lucky one, he came back. And obviously, he said his service, he loved this country and he wanted to give back and always, always remember his comrades. Bravo to him, and how beautiful to see him recognized there in Kingston, Massachusetts. And everybody, help America to never, ever forget. Donate just $11 a month.
$66.88.
Such an incredible difference in the lives of America's heroes and
Give
their
me a
families.
two-digit number.
Be sure to check out the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. They are the absolute best. I love them, and boy, do they shine a light on the bravest among us. Be sure to check them out at T2T.org. The number 2.
Give me two-digit numbers.
.org.
You're listening to The Rita Cosby Show.
Born on America's darkest day of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been helping America's heroes ever since. Heroes who put their lives on the line for our country and our communities need your help now more than ever. Join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good in their honor. Never forget 9/11 or the sacrifices of this country's heroes and their families. Show support by donating $11 a month at T2T.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org.
If you want real American meat, born, raised, fed in America, then you want Freedom Farms. No imports, no nonsense. From their family farm in upstate New York to your family table. Fill your freezer with a whole cow or a half cow, or grab a box of burgers and steaks. Go to wearefreedomfarms.com. Use promo code MAGA for $25 off your first order. Go to wearefreedomfarms.com. Promo code MAGA for $25 off your first order. Freedom Farms, real meat from real farmers.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's
All right, so we're going to choose
ZipRecruiter.
14.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu, the daytime coughing, aching fever under your flu medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Picture this, you're on a date, and then bad breath happens. Confidence gone. Here's the truth. Most gums and mints are just bad breath Band-Aids, but not Zellman's Minty Mouth. The functional breath freshener you swallow. Tiny dual-action capsules with mints on the outside, parsley seed oil inside, clinically tested to fight the toughest offenders, even garlic and onions. It's only available online. Go to Zellmans.com, Z-E-L-M-I-N-S, Zellmans.com, code FRESH for 15% off.
Every weekend, newsmakers are on 77 WABC.
The Cats Roundtable, John Catsimatidis, with RNC Chair Joe Grugers on the Democrats getting nothing out of the government shutdown.
After 43 days of holding Americans hostage, they got nothing.
John Catsimatidis with Paul Zuber.
The one issue that is driving New Yorkers out of the state is affordability.
Larry Kudlow on Trump cleaning up Biden's mess of the economy.
He is mopping up Biden's catastrophe.
Dominic Carter on Mondami's plans already being foiled.
Governor Hochul slamming the brake on his free New York City bus plan.
With Darlene Love about giving thanks.
Christmas time and Thanksgiving time, it is a time of thanks.
Anthony Cunha on Jimmy Kimmel's 4 rating.
No one's watching these shows anymore. No one cares.
Listen to these minicasts and more. Download the 77 WABC minicast. Everything you need to know in 10 minutes or less. It's the Rita Cosby Show.
So Stan thinks that Donald Trump kind of got played a little bit. You just heard what Robert said. Are you kidding me? I agree with Robert. Donald Trump has a master plan. And again, I give him credit. He was nice to Kim Jong-un. He was nice to Putin. He's been nice to some bad actors. It's still good to at least have access to them if they are in important positions. But nothing is more important than being president of the United States. Let's not forget who clearly is the commander-in-chief. There is
897.
no doubt about it. Let's go to Sandra in New Jersey real quick on line 4. Go ahead, Sandra.
I thought both of them did very well together, and this is what I was expecting. If Trump can get along with Rocket Man, he can get along with anyone, so I wasn't surprised. And I almost saw like a parental kind of thing, like father, son. And sometimes you have the son that may go the wrong way. So what do you just throw him out and let him go that way? If you try to direct him, and this is what I'm hoping will happen with Mandani and Donald Trump. He started on a nice foot with this man, and maybe they will work together. But you don't want to be angry from day one. You want to start out nicely, like he did. And I'm hopeful that maybe I see like I said, like a father-son type of thing.
Yeah, father and commie son. You know? Sandra, thank you very much. You're terrific. Let's go really quick to Kenny on line 2. Kenny.
Trump, can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead real quick.
Okay. Trump did the right thing. He gave him an inch. He didn't give him no feet. He didn't give him no mouth. Enough just to handkerchief.
By the way, you're right. He gave him an inch. He said, I'm expecting good things from New York. Acquiesced. He did the right thing by meeting with him. I 100% agree. And Trump is no fool. He's going to be watching this Democratic socialist, who I still believe is anti-Semitic, and a whole bunch more.
656.
Is New York's talk
6,
leader, the crown jewel of talk radio.
5,
ABC New York, WRCR Haverstraw,
6.
1071, WLIR Hampton Bays. News first at 59 past the hour.
77 WABC News starts now.
Mainly cloudy on this Saturday, November 22nd. Good morning, I'm Lisa Ritchie. President Trump says he had a great meeting with New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani at the White House.
I really think he has a chance to do a great job. We're going to help him, but I really think he has a chance to do a great job. I would feel very, very comfortable being in New York, and I think much more so after the meeting.
Both men brushed off questions about trading insults when Mamdani was running for office. President Trump says he feels very confident in Zohran Mamdani. After immigration crackdowns in Chicago and Charlotte, a new city is being targeted by law enforcement. Rory O'Neill reports.
The immigration operation dubbed Charlotte Web is over, with the Border Patrol stepping up enforcement in New Orleans after Thanksgiving. More than 250 people were arrested around Charlotte for alleged immigration violations during that crackdown. On Thursday, a federal judge also ruled the Trump administration's deployment
All right,
of the National
7890
Guard to
you chose.
Washington, D.C. is unlawful. The ruling won't go into effect until next month. I'm Rory.
7890.
Consumers are feeling a little better about the economy.
7890.
Ended. Matt Mattinson explains.
The University of Michigan's final reading for November rose slightly from its mid-month low. However, survey officials say consumers remain frustrated about higher prices and weakening incomes. The outlook for personal finances and buying conditions for durable goods both plunged more than 10%. I'm Matt Mattinson.
Police are investigating a series of abandoned babies this month. Noam Layden has more.
Cops searching for a mom who stuffed her fetus into a bag, dumped it behind the NYCHA building in Canarsie.
It's sad, and I hope they catch the person.
It's not clear how long that infant was there. The city's medical examiner will officially determine the cause of death. There was better news up in the Bronx, where a woman found a newborn alive in the trash.
I'm glad the baby's okay. I've seen the baby's alive, so that's my biggest thing I'll say my whole day.
The cops found that mom a block away, arrested her. The newborn is okay.
3501.
ABC News.
2 women are recovering from injuries after an explosion inside a Midtown Manhattan parking garage on East 53rd Street between Lexington Avenue and 3rd Avenue. Fire Chief Joseph Abamonte.
Did you believe it was accidental? It might have been either a factory pump on the generator, and it just ignited maybe the soot in the chimney.
Debris hit the 2 pedestrians who were sent to the hospital. City officials have a plan to set up and break down those sidewalk sheds faster. Joe Connolly reports.
I put the camera closer so you can see the numbers better.
And impose escalating fines for sheds left up without active construction taking place. They'll also offer.
All right, 3501. And you said 3501. You said 2266.
And the building owners. The city says it will shorten permit times and use new designs that will allow light in. Joe Connolly, 77 WABC News.
Travelers trying to go through airport security without a real ID or passport could be charged an $18 fee. Mark Mayfield explains.
The money would go towards the cost of an alternative identity program that uses biometric data to verify identity. A public notice about the proposal was published Thursday by the TSA, but no start date has been given. Real ID was made into law back in 2005, but only became required this year. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Ready or not, the holidays have arrived in New York City.
2266.
It's not even Thanksgiving yet, but Macy's
1890.
have unveiled their holiday window displays, and the Rock Center Christmas tree is already topped with its star.
I work right here, and I'm not ready.
It's a little hectic. Yes, I'm kind of excited that I'm working right here, that I get to go see it.
Because every year, you live in the city, you work in the city long enough, it's just part of the cycle, so you just deal with it.
I look forward to it every year.
It used to be customary to take out the garland and tinsel after Thanksgiving, but that no longer seems to be the case. Saks Fifth Avenue turns on its holiday light show on Monday. Lisa G, 77 WABC News.
This holiday season, help the 77 WABC Radio Foundation
1515.
Go to WABCFoundationCares.com. Join 77 WABC, AARP New York City, the Police Athletic League, Gristedes and D'Agostino Supermarkets, and Nationwide Imaging Services as we deliver Thanksgiving turkeys to more than 5,000 families across the city. On November 22nd at 10:30 a.m., the 77 WABC Thanksgiving trolley rolls out at the Police Athletic League Harlem Center, giving back to those who need.
0312.
ABCFoundationCares.com. 77 WABC Cares. In sports, Yankees general manager Brian Cashman spoke about several topics Thursday, including meeting with agent Scott Boras about re-signing Cody Bellinger, with Trent Grisham already back in the fold. He said there are a lot of holes to fill in the bullpen, and Cashman also hopes to balance out a predominantly left-handed rotation. Your forecast overnight, clouds, a few scattered showers, the low 47. Later today, morning showers
0113
with a high of 52. Sunday, increasing cloudiness and the high 48 degrees. It's mostly cloudy outside of our Midtown studios. I'm Lisa Ritchie. Remember, the news never stops at WABCRadio.com.
Coming up at 5 a.m. on the 77 WABC News Hour, Weekend Edition. Talk in the news.
All right, we still need 369.
Still trying to figure out how a singer
We need 9 two-digit numbers. We need 9 two-digit numbers, 9 three-digit numbers, and 2, 4, 6, 7, 7 four-digit numbers.
Weekend Edition with Lizzie Radavali. Weekend mornings at 5. 77 WABC. Always look to the sky. The Dr. Sky Experience is on the air. 77 WABC. Now, here's Dr. Sky.
5 minutes after the hour, ladies and gentlemen, Steve Hayes, Dr. Sky here. A high honor to be behind this particular microphone. An equal high honor, ladies and gentlemen, to have you tuning in, no matter where you're listening to us, around the nation, around the world, and who knows, maybe even out into the cosmos. For what? The Dr. Sky Experience, now on the air, with another exciting episode of mind-opening information, as you tell us, from the realms of astronomy, space, aviation, weather.
We're going to put 4-digit number. We're going to put
if you'd like to get in on the conversation,
60.
we usually have guests for 2 hours, because many of you
68.
tell us emails that we get at Dr. Sky, DRSKY at WABCRadio.com. There isn't enough
23.
time to ask the questions of the famous guests that we have, and people soon to be famous by what they give us in their opinions. The contact number is 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. We encourage you to listen to previous iterations of the Dr. Sky Experience, and equally important, all many podcasts of all the great hosts that are here on 77 WABC. We appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned. Equally, we appreciate our helmsmen, as we like to call them, Tony and Bill. Thank you ahead of time for navigating this incredible, powerful signal around the nation and around the world. And as I often say and mean it, yes, maybe, ladies and gentlemen, one day, doubt that there's, who knows, listening out into the cosmos. So much information to talk about, and I hope you'll find our special guest, which will
7212.
a previous guest, ladies and gentlemen, by
7212.
talks about of the mysteries of chemtrails and geoengineering, ladies and gentlemen. What is climate engineering? What is geoengineering? And in the estimations of many, it's the deliberate large-scale interventions in the Earth's climate system intended to counteract what many believe are human-caused climate change. The term commonly encompasses 2 broad categories: large-scale carbon dioxide removal, or CDR, and solar radiation modification, SRM. The first one, carbon dioxide removal, involves techniques to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and is generally considered a form of climate change mitigation. And the opposite one, solar radiation modification, aims to reduce global warming by
6843.
reflecting a small portion of sunlight, that is solar radiation, away from the Earth and back into space. Ladies and gentlemen, this particular topic, whatever your opinion is, we appreciate your commentary. Once again, 1-800-848-9222, as we reintroduce our very special guest. But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, let's remind ourselves of something that just happened, or remind you, that is, in a respectful way. TV journalist Tucker Carlson did a recent interview with our very special guest. And who is that guest? It's Dave Wiggins. He's a lead researcher for geoengineeringwatch.org. And to take this subject very serious, which many of you do, as your humble host does, here's what Tucker Carlson had to say.
All right, we're choosing 12.
It's always the obvious
12.
questions that are so vigorously discouraged. And one of the questions that's been the most discouraged over the past 30 years are, what are those lines in the sky that you see trailing jets?
What is that?
Yep, we got 3 more.
Claim that somehow the
3 more. Wait, you said 63, 43, 55, 13. We got 2 more numbers. 55, 13.
But the trails are still there. And it's clearly not water vapor because that doesn't make sense at all. So what are they? We spent the last 6 months trying to find someone credible who could explain that to us. A serious, sane person with an engineering background who could tell us, what are we looking at? Because we're looking at something. And I don't care what names you call me. I still want to know what it is. And
We need 2 more 4-digit numbers.
Waiting Tank of Northern California has been on this subject for almost 30 years and has compiled what we believe, after looking at it pretty carefully, is the most comprehensive account of what we're seeing. And it's very bad.
Our very special guest, ladies and gentlemen, talking about the mystery of chemtrails and geoengineering as we welcome him back. Good morning to you, Dane Wigington. Thanks for being with us on the Dr. Scott Experience. How you doing, sir, on the West Coast?
Great, Steve. And again, thanks to you, WABC, for your willingness to
0612.
address the dire issue that far too few are yet aware of.
Well, I thank you, thank you highly. And I saw the audience here through all the different emails that I've gotten. They said simply this, and if I can summarize so many of those emails, it would sound like this. Hey, we never got a chance to ask your special guest questions. We have so many. So again, the microphone here is shared by you, myself, and more important, with the listeners of this powerful radio station. But tell me a little bit more about this interview with Tucker Carlson. I mean, people can, of course, go on to YouTube and watch the entirety of this. Was this about an hour of an interview, or am I giving you too little time on this one? How long was your interview with Carlson?
It was over an hour. And I deep gratitude to Tucker for his willingness to address this issue. He's taken a lot of blowback for it, which we expect. To address an issue that the power structure and matrix media doesn't want talked about. But the totality of...
All right, we got the 4-number grid filled.
And several other posts was...
The 4-number grid is filled. 3494.
But about 40 million.
34.
Next channel alone, 8 million. And so, again, the word is definitely getting out. It's getting hard to hide this issue. And again,
3494.
His willingness to address this issue is the same to you, Steve. Same to you.
Well, thank you. And again, the opinions expressed here in this particular show, and many of the guests we have, of course, in their opinions. And that's why we like to light up phones, because so many people last time, not to be overly redundant here, they would just so kind of like say this way, wow, I've been wondering about this, people are saying, and they're just confused. So in the time that we have with you, let's spend it judiciously, and let's move on in this particular way.
Yeah, we got the 4-number grid filled. Now we got to fill up the 3 numbers and the 2 numbers.
Your title again, Dane Wigington.
So let's see, 014.
Engineeringwatch.org, and that's a website we, of course, want everybody to take a look at. Because I find this website thing is so incredible. You could spend, weeks, if not years in there, kidding, of course, but so much time, and many websites don't even have that much, but what a front page. It's deep with what? Analysis and research. Tell us more about the website.
That's what it is.
166.
We don't sell anything other than some activist materials to help activists in the field, which we pass on our printed materials for less than our cost of producing and shipping. Only one goal, to expose and halt this issue. And most people, Steve, don't.
We're going to do a 888.
For example, what they've heard of cloud seeding.
888.
Localized, publicized.
See that?
Single
888.
A few flares in the wings. That's cloud seeding. Climate engineering is a completely different animal. Inconceivably larger. This is a climate engineering Manhattan project globally. And to compare this mathematically, a cloud seeding aircraft might disperse 4 or 5 pounds of material total with the flares on the wings. A single climate engineering aircraft like a KC-135 could drop 100 tons of highly toxic nanoparticle elements that are climate engineering elements in a single payload. 100 tons in one payload. And our calculations, again, working with the University of Minnesota.
All right, we need 6 more 3-digit numbers. 6 more 3-digit numbers to finish this grid.
Assuming we had a uniform coverage, it's about 40 to 60 million tons of material being spread into our skies annually.
Yeah, it's amazing. Dane, I'm a watcher like many others, not better, not worse of the skies. We talk about this on the Dr. Sky Experience, obviously teaching people in a gentle and calm and loving way how to take advantage of the objects that are in our nighttime sky and in the daytime. But here's the thing. I go out about a week ago and I look into the blue skies of Phoenix, Arizona, and we've had some rain now. But I see what? Virtually no contrails or anything like the streaks in the sky. And of course now, thank God that the government shutdown is over because we all need to get where we need to go. But the point of the matter is, the sky, the other day, I have so much of an archive that I've taken, I couldn't believe it. I saw X marks the spot. I've seen continuous parallel lines. I've seen all kinds of things. So that's amazing. Government shutdown, little or no contrails, and now government shutdown over, lots of contrails. Take it from there, because it's quite obvious to people if they've looked up and said, hey, not as many airplanes, not as many contrails. So tie the whole thing together for us.
There may have been some reprieve in some areas, and you may have been one of those areas. And again, the
All right, we got 424.
flight traffic may have been a part of that as well. We do know that commercial aircraft with commercial markings are being used for small payloads in these operations. We're not implicating commercial pilots or personnel, not at all. And even the aircraft that are used, we know the DoD has leased hundreds, 200 to 300, we believe, is the figure that's based on the data we have. Commercial aircraft with commercial
Got 893.
Why does DoD need that? And we do have up-close photographs of the retrofit nozzles mounted on the wing pylons aimed at the exhaust jet stream on commercial aircraft with commercial markings. We have film footage of those aircraft also leaving dispersions that turn on and off. You can't turn a condensation trail on and off. This is not condensation. It's a sprayed particulate dispersion. And there are many who try to marginalize this issue to claim the nozzles we see on the wing pylons aimed at the exhaust jet stream is just a drain for excess fuel or oil. Really? They're going to drain fuel or oil into the exhaust jet stream so the plane blows up? No. That's, again, we need to use common sense. There's always...
And we got 248. Now we need 3 more numbers.
That they don't want disclosed. So we're encouraging people to please think for yourself. You don't have grid patterns.
We need 3 more 3-digit numbers.
Atmospheric patterns. We know these aircraft routinely, the tankers, have their transponders turned off. Only the military is allowed to do that. And we have with Flight Tracker, we can still see some of these aircraft. For example, on the West Coast, they're making giant loops up and down the coast, and we think that's a commercial aircraft leaving these massive particulate dispersions. We have X patterns, we have ovals. The ovals are so tight, some of the loops that we see made, if it was a passenger aircraft, the passengers would be pinned to the window.
Yeah, good point.
You know, so, and we, again, bottom line is we took a NOAA flying lab, as we discussed in our last exchange. We took a NOAA flying lab. It's in the Dimming as well, the documentary on geoengineeringwatch.org. To altitude, top scientists in it, sampled what these heavy aircraft were emitting, and we found exactly what you would find, starting with lumen nanoparticles. And if anybody watches the Dimming, as you would have seen, Steve, the very beginning of that film is detailed diagrams of the patents for dispersion mechanisms on heavy aircraft. This is, you know, we're talking.
You're exactly right. And let me take the lead on something here as the host, and I want to do this, you know, it goes to your side. Ladies and gentlemen, a tutorial 101 on this very subject, whether you believe it or not. I at least encourage you, as Dane would, to go to geoengineeringwatch.org. The movie, the documentary, as we call it, the Dimming. I just completely finished it, as I promised you last time. I was, you know, not too busy to watch it, but just I did watch it, and that's exactly what I wanted to share with the audience. That you can make up your mind, ladies and gentlemen, of what our special guest, Dane Wigington, lead researcher at geoengineeringwatch.org. And comments and questions. This is why we have this particular forum here on the probably most powerful of many stations here and around the nation. Of course, I'm proud to be sitting again.
Finish the 4.
At 1-800-848-9222.
The 4-digit numbers grid.
9222. So the interesting part.
We're almost finished the 3-digit numbers grid.
All kinds of emails, and just to let people know.
And we're halfway through the 2-digit numbers.
Is there a special way, of course, on the website that they can leave comments or questions?
Yes, admin@geoengineeringwatch.org, and that's the email at the contact the contact cursor on the homepage of geoengineeringwatch.org. So it's admin@geoengineeringwatch.org. We do our best to keep up with communications. Now that this issue is blowing out into the open and people are beginning to realize the totality of cataclysm that's been wreaked on them from these programs, there's so many communications coming in, we're having difficulty trying to keep up, but we will do our best. And if anybody finds any data that they think we should see,
Sure.
welcome that as well.
Do you welcome actual images and videos? I would imagine you would, for people who want to show you the perplexity or complexity of some of these big contrail images that they're seeing. They can send that over, I gather, or just add photos.
All right, 691.
Anything that's exceptional, we keep extensive files, but if it's something very exceptional that's been captured, we always welcome that, certainly.
Sounds good. And ladies and gentlemen, if you just thought we were going to be talking chemtrails, this is obviously a very important subject, not only to Dane, but to the world, I'm sure. But we're going to get into subjects like this, weather modification. HAARP, that's something that many people have heard about in the past, engineering wildfires, engineering droughts, forest modifications, and obviously to be so bold, talking about the concept of directed energy weapons and things of that nature. But let's stay back with chemtrails before we go in about 5-10 minutes to the bottom of the hour break. This is interesting. You're describing some of the things, the particulates. Let's get into what people should be concerned about, in your opinion, about particulates that are being, in your words, being sprayed from altitude down here on the
735.
Well, again, this is where we really get to the core of the issue is what do we do with the time we have? Should we focus on the greatest priority that we face from an existential standpoint? And I would argue rationally the answer must be yes. If our head was on fire, we would ignore a stubbed toe or a skinned knee, right? We need to put our head out.
Right.
This is the biggest hole in the bottom of the boat. There's nothing that these programs don't affect negatively. So we're talking about a plethora of toxic elements. We know this from lab testing.
We need one more to finish the grid.
And many more from around the world. Aluminum, barium, strontium, manganese, polymer fibers, surfactants, graphene. And Steve, I don't know if you mentioned this before, but have you seen during certain rain events, you see a lot of foaming rain, maybe running?
Yeah, I have. Actually, you're right. I have seen this. I've seen it on my vehicle. I mean, that's where I've seen it. Right.
Surfactants. And the surfactants are also in the frozen precipitation. Also, the reason for them using surfactants is it helps to keep the particles from coagulating together and forming a larger particle, which is going to
686.
faster. So that's the stated purpose from a patent standpoint of surfactants. And on the snow or the frozen material, literally it's like soaked snow. It's a very different composition than historically naturally nucleated snow. And I know this firsthand. I grew up at the base of the San Gabriel Mountains in Southern California. I've done a lot of navigating in the snow.
Now we just got the 2 grid.
Different substance. And people who thought they knew how to drive in snow now
We got the
don't.
2 by grid.
Pileups everywhere.
That's interesting.
2-digit numbers left.
Aluminum, if
2-digit
that's one
numbers.
of the particulates
2-digit
that's
numbers.
coming down out of the atmosphere from these, particular chemtrail experiences that you're describing. It's probably one of the most volatile things that doesn't, equate with the human body. I mean, what are we going to become? An antenna for 5G communications? I mean, I've heard and read that, and I think I got it from one of your documentaries called The Dimming.
It is. This is, again, the gravity of this can't be overstated. Aluminum nanoparticles are a primary element named in climate engineering patents. And as you watch The Dimming, you would have seen me confronting the world's most recognized climate engineer, Dr. David Keith, at an international climate engineering conference. And at the end of his symposium of pushing for the dumping of tens of millions of tons of aluminum nanoparticles in the atmosphere. Why would they use aluminum? Because it has a high albedo, reflectivity, and a low coagulation rate. So the particles don't clump together as much as other particles. So there's seemingly no consideration of the consequences. So I confronted Dr. Keith at a room full of 100 researchers and media people. They allowed about 3 questions. I was one. And I asked him, had they studied toxicological effects, environmental and human? And his first response, it seemed to catch him very flat-footed. His first response was, well, we looked at atmospheric particulate loading. There's a lot of, I'm paraphrasing, a lot of particulates there. A little more won't hurt. And before they cut me off, I followed up with those particulates are not bioavailable aluminum nanoparticles. Have you studied that? And he then was really back on his heels caught off guard, and his final response was no. Could terrible things happen tomorrow? We don't know. What kind of response is that from the world's most recognized climate engineer? We're going to dump tens of millions of tons of bioavailable aluminum in the atmosphere where we all get to breathe it, and we know from the world's foremost expert on aluminum toxicity that without aluminum in the equation, based on years of research, there would be no Alzheimer's in the normal human lifespan of 100 years. Aluminum is core to that equation.
Well, that's what's really got me disturbed. I mean, without going too much into my personal life, thank God nobody in my direct family is suffering the ills of, dementia and Alzheimer's. But what you're talking about here, I mean, connecting the dots here, not to alarm people, but to give them the opinion to decide for themselves by listening and watching things like the dimming on your website and other things that we're going to be talking about. I mean, that is just horrible. But the point is, I see so many people that I talk to. I do a lot of public speaking in a lot of senior communities, too. They love the subject of the sky and open their minds. But I see so many of those people on a regular basis, and then we don't see them anymore. And sadly, I asked, well, what happened? And they said, well, they're in memory care because they're going into the deep throes of dementia. And that's a horrible thing. I couldn't even imagine what that would be like to have somebody that close and everybody listening, So, wow. What you're saying is there's a correlation, and obviously aluminum is not something you want to eat for breakfast, breathe in, and if indeed these things are coming down as you described, there needs to be some action taken, and that's why we open everybody's mind. I want to talk astronomy, if I may, just a second, Dean, and excuse me for jumping.
If I could make one point on the aluminum.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's very important. It's not a coincidence that the powers that be have completely dismantled the primary aluminum toxicity research teams, completely disintegrated them. That's not an accident. And there's a lot of middle ground. You don't have to have an Alzheimer's diagnosis to be feeling the effects. So many people are feeling brain fog. They can't focus. There's a whole lot of middle ground here, and many people in it. And we know IQs are dropping precipitously. And again, a lot of factors in this equation. I'm not blaming everything on this, but I'm saying we have a core element here. We know the bees are dying from peer-reviewed study. Your listeners can search bees/aluminum. Peer-reviewed study proving the bees are dying of massive aluminum exposure. And the study itself says they're exhibiting symptoms of Alzheimer's and dementia in human beings. They can't even find their way back to the hive. How long till none of us can find our way home?
Well, that's why we want to bring these subjects to the people's opinion, for the opinions that you're expressing, so that they can do their own research and come to their own conclusions. But I wanted to mention before the break, going into the world of astronomy, many people may not know the term albedo, and not to sound like we're conducting a science class by any means. It's the amount of light that reaches a planet to the amount of light that it reflects back in space. So the simple one is, why is Venus so bright? Well, its albedo is high, meaning it's encased in clouds. And in your story, as you described, the injection of these particles, in your opinion, into the upper atmosphere, on a constant basis, gives those that want to reduce the amount of solar radiation, thus theoretically warming up the Earth, the climate scare, the climate situation. Now, what does it do, Dave? It reflects the light back into space before it can do the harmful effect of turning the Earth into the planet Venus, and not to be overly dramatic, correct?
That's not overly dramatic. Venus syndrome is a very real scenario. Once you trigger enough feedback loops, they can't be stopped or shut off. And the paradox here is the stated purpose to do exactly what you just described, increase the planet's albedo. We know the planet's albedo is going down, not up, because these programs, these particulates, and the frequency transmissions used to manipulate these particulates are actually greatly curtailing the planet's ability for natural cloud cover, which actually does cool the planet. So again, these are programs of planetary omnicide. They're being used for purposes of power and control. And the very stated purpose is completely flawed. Scientifically, we have the data to back it up.
Amazing stuff. Dane Wigington, ladies and gentlemen, he's our special guest. If you're just joining us on the Dr. Sky Experience, who is he? Lead researcher, geoengineeringwatch.org. Lots to say, ladies and gentlemen. Your participation is very much appreciated. With your questions and comments, whether you believe this or not, our special guest is here to give you the best information that he can from the vast research that he does and with his organization, which is growing by leaps and bounds. And you, congratulations, getting what? The TV lead television journalist, Tucker Carlson, on this very, very subject, because as he described, they searched, those are the words of Tucker Carlson, they searched for somebody who had the credibility, in his opinion, that's Tucker Carlson, to talk all about this very important subject. Ladies and gentlemen, as promised, for during this particular 2-hour show, we will then, some part of the show, do our sky update. So we obviously go to the fans out there who want to hear and learn so much more about the wonders of the nighttime sky. And hopefully keeping those skies clear without the injection of particles, as our guest alleges, and gives us in his opinion, and also, ladies and gentlemen, that we obviously can have clear skies and hopefully some dark skies to view the wonders of the universe. We'll be right back on the Dr. Sky Experience.
The views and opinions expressed by the individual hosts and their guests do not necessarily reflect the policies or positions of WABC Radio, its management, or its sponsors. Coming up tomorrow morning at 6 on Let the Record Show with Judge Richard Weinberg, Chairman Jesse Garcia, and Eric Levine, Esquire. This week on the show, Jesse Garcia talks about the U.S.-Saudi economic relationship.
These are situations that we're not always going to agree completely with all of our allies. We don't completely agree with our allies in NATO on every issue. We don't agree with our allies in the EU on every issue.
It's Let the Record Show, holding court for you. 77 WABC. Donate this holiday season. Join 77 WABC, AARP New York City,
Aristides and D'Agostino Supermarkets, nationwide imaging services,
and the Police Athletic League as we deliver turkeys to more than 5,000 families in need. Donate now.
Go to WABCFoundationCares.com.
For just $50, you can feed a family in need.
That's WABCFoundationCares.com. Tomorrow at 10:30 in the morning.
The 77 WABC Thanksgiving trolley rolls out at the Police Athletic League Harlem Center, giving back to those in need. 77 WABC cares.
This is the Dr. Sky Experience. Always look to the sky. 77 WABC. Now, here's Dr. Sky.
I'm James Rosen, Chief White House correspondent for Newsmax and author of the new book, Scalia, Rise to Greatness, 1986. And you're not just listening to the Dr. Sky Experience, you're having the Dr. Sky Experience on 77 WABC, New York.
The Eastern Spur instead, and in Brooklyn, the eastbound PQE very heavy from before the Williamsburg Bridge out to McGinnis Boulevard. 2 right lanes are closed with road work. Liam Flynn, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
Embrace the spirit of the season during the Mercedes-Benz Holiday Love Celebration and make dreams come true.
And everywhere we look in the financial markets today, and that is defined as too much money chasing too few opportunities.
I want to push back a little bit, Chris. Like, I've been talking about this piece that was on 60 Minutes about the founder of Anthropic.
Yeah, Dario Amodei.
Right, and he talks specifically about how, like, AI in healthcare, and I talked to doctors too. We were at Boston
Right, so we finished
the use of
we finished the 4 numbers grid. We finished the
AI.
We finished the 3 numbers grid, and now we just got to finish the
to help create in terms of diagnosis,
2 numbers grid,
and also in terms of innovation. But Amodei saying on 60 Minutes, basically he's talking about this thing of condensing basically. Let me just look what he says. The compressed 21st century. That's the phrase he uses just to describe what can happen. He says the idea would be the point that we can get AI systems to this level of power where they're able to work with the best human scientists. Could we get 10 times the rate of progress and therefore compress all the medical progress that's going to happen throughout the entire 21st century in 5 or 10 years? I realize it's his book, but I mean, those of us who started playing around with it are kind of blown away with it in terms of what it can do. But again, do you think it's just a productivity tool or something more that maybe creates?
At this stage, yes. It's, remember in the old days where Chris Weil was one of the early advocates of AI, and he said, well, it's not intelligence, it's simulated cognition. And he was right. But then he had so many people throwing money at him to go to conferences and speak that over time he adopted a more liberal, more, I guess, accepting view of this technological phenomenon. But to me, as a writer,
Yeah.
when I use AI, I use Google, for example, it's nice if you know what you're looking for specifically, but I'll always ask the machine 2 or 3 times the same question, differently worded.
Yeah.
And you always get different outputs. So let me give you another example. Imagine using AI for a mortgage lender to deal with customers who are calling, for a variety of reasons, and you want to use it to try and sift through those inquiries, answer the ones that you can in a reliable fashion, also use it to do summations of phone calls that have to be reviewed and okayed before they're, finalized, right? These are all valid functions, but ultimately all we're really doing here is summarizing, and that's what computers do. They sort, they do summations and averages and everything else, but it's not intelligence. It's not the ability to learn on the fly, and particularly without a monitor and a companion, if you will, in a human sense. So for a lot of companies, they look at the horsepower, they look at the speed and the robustness of these AI tools, right? But they don't quite get there in terms of rolling it out because of the high error rates.
Well, so
that's the thing.
Okay, Tim and I are like fighting to who gets to ask the next question. Go ahead, Tim, because I'm gracious.
Are you out of NVIDIA then? Because if this doesn't amount to
Everybody seems to be getting. A lot of people.
I got in a long while ago. I wrote it up, then I got out, then I got back in, and each time it went up so much, it got to be such a big percentage of my portfolio that I had to stop it.
Well, the thing I want to ask you, Chris, is how does this end? Because I'm looking at Amazon did their first U.S. dollar bond offering in 3 years, looking to raise $12 billion, but attracts about $80 billion of orders.
15 billion. The size of U.S. dollar bond offering, 15 billion.
It's like, and Meta did it. Like, so how does this end? I mean it when we turned to you so many times during the great financial crisis. And this was something that there was so much FOMO and people, didn't want to miss the gains, but we know how it all ended. So how do you, I don't want to be alarmist, I want to be smart here. How does this potentially end? The AI component, who's impacted?
I think you're going to see action in some of these valuations simply because they've gone up so much in a relatively short period of time. Let me give you another interesting example. Company I actually like a lot, SoFi. SoFi is the best performing bank stock in the United States. It has been 18 months. You know what the next one is, by the way, among big banks? Citi. The rest of the big guys are falling behind. So why did SoFi do so well? Well, they're growing into their overhead. Their overhead was massive. It's still too high relative to the size of the bank. It's about $50 billion in assets now. But they had a tech component, a Silicon Valley component, a little bit of Bitcoin. All of these pieces that made equity managers love it. And they drove the thing up over 100% over the last 12 months. I think stories like that are going to cool off. I think Bitcoin, frankly, is in big trouble because it was kind of co-opted by Wall Street. When you see ETFs with Bitcoin, that's not a good thing. This was supposed to be a means of exchange, remember?
Well,
so I think all of these markets are going to have to retreat a little bit, Carol. Will they go down way much like 2008? No, because there's still too many dollars chasing these opportunities.
That was Chris Whalen. He's chairman of Whalen Global Advisors, also editor of the Institutional Risk Analyst newsletter.
Still ahead on Bloomberg Business Week, we get another read on the U.S. economy, the Fed, and especially banking.
We've got the CEO of ConnectOne Bancorp joining us. This is Bloomberg. This is New York's